So did we already introduce ourselves? Should we do it again for real? Who's going to start? Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter Chan, and I'm the lead artist.
You drew that painting right there, right?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay.
I'm Larry Ahern, lead animator.
You killed that bird.
And I think that was a Leela scene.
Oh, okay.
She's the animal killer.
I like the mustache trees in that last shot, Peter. I'm Tim Schafer, co-project leader of this lovely game.
And I am Dave Grossman, other project leader and designer and writer along with Tim of this lovely game.
That should have been our titles, co and other.
Co and other, yeah.
Clint Bajakian, one of the composers.
Peter McConnell, one of the composers.
Nice. The game has begun, you guys. Okay, so we saw the lovely, what's the name of that classical music that plays during the opening voice?
Rossini, William Tell Overture. It's the quiet part of the William Tell Overture.
There's two classical pieces that need mourning in cartoons.
Yes, there's that one, and then there's...
Bum.
And the other one is... That's from... Where is that from?
I don't remember.
It might be Peer Gynt or something like. That's a good guess.
It's not another place in the Rossini, is it?
No, I think it's Peer Gynt. I think.
But for that opening scene with the music, we actually got the score and sequenced the ink into the MIDI sequencers.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the big panning sequences, like wide pieces of art for the game.
Oh, the room shot? It was a double room?
Mm-hmm. And I noticed there's a poster with an L from Laverne and Shirley on that poster back there.
Here's one of our giant animation scenes.
How did you lip sync back then? Because we didn't have any like tool. Nowadays we use a tool for lip syncing. Do you just by hand?
I think we just timed it out like the old-fashioned timing sheets.
Now that was for the cinematics, but for in-game, wasn't it Eric Wilmunder?
I thought it just blah 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 chatter.
I think the in-game was just on-off with audio on-off.
Yeah, there's no actual lip syncing for the majority of the game,
So it's
which
just
is funny since I have gotten many compliments on the lip syncing for this game over the years.
Because, you know, it loops around and every percentage of the time it's on, right?
Well, because I remember
Yeah,
Eric...
I think Eric designed some kind of an algorithm for making the lips move to the level of volume.
Yeah.
Right, if there are
Of the
pauses,
waveform, of the
pauses in the
waveform.
audio, it
Waveform,
stops
yeah.
moving the lips.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now these credits were done by Kyle Balda.
That's
you were
right.
saying entirely on his internship?
Yep,
So wait, did we not pay for these
He,
credits? Or did we pay for
took
them?
time.
You got paid, right?
I think so, yeah. He took time, this is Peter, the other Peter. We took time out of CalArts. He came and spent some time with us, and we gave him this intro as an internship, and he did a fabulous job.
Seems like a funny thing to do, like, hey, you're an intern, you've never done this before. Do you want to do the entire animated intro, the most...
But I remember when he did, you know, when he finished something, he shared it with us. We were all blown away by it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The most iconic signature piece. Can you
Yeah.
hurry and finish that before you go
We
back
want
to
to
school?
set the entire
That's right.
tone for the look of our game, and
It was excellent.
I would later learn that this was the perfect piece to have Kyle work on because he was colorblind, as it turns out.
I didn't know that.
I saw him
I
working
didn't-
on
I didn't
something
even
else
know
and he
that.
had other people picking his colors for him.
Oh, interesting. There was another 3D artist we had there in B Building that was colorblind too, and it was one of those things where people were just kind of, have you noticed everything he does? The reds don't make sense or whatever. I couldn't remember what it was.
Oh, the cow. I always get really happy watching these credits. I like the stretchy cow neck.
That cow should have showed up again later somewhere. Yeah. Missed opportunities.
What if the cow had come on their journey with them? Everything would have been so different.
Well, here's the story explanation right now for why the cow doesn't come.
Because he's just tired.
Doesn't want to make
Like
the walk.
I've been to the
No.
mansion before.
Now, this is the first fight I had with Peter McConnell. Do you remember this, Peter?
Yes, I was gonna.
You were gonna mention that?
If you were gonna remember it.
Because the opening cutscene was too long, and we always had a problem with too long opening cutscenes, and so we were like, let's split it in half and put an interactive sequence. So there's an interactive sequence that's about to start, but I seem to remember it was the wrong time of day for you, because it's nighttime outside. It started in the daytime with the mutation scene, then it became nighttime.
Right.
But then what happened? Then it turned into daytime at the end. That's what bothered you, because the music couldn't make that transition in your mind.
Yeah, well, I think mostly I was crabby because we had to the cutscenes and the interactivity required a bunch of programming in iMuse, and I'd finished it one way, and then you changed it to another, and so I think I came up with some sort of artistic argument that had to do with daylight like that, but
that's an important thing to learn running a project, to not change things after someone spent hours and hours making something.
Well, it was also an important thing to learn not to step way out of your bailiwick and tell the guy who's writing the scene how to write the scene.
Oh, there are bailiwicks all over the place in this game.
And then there's the porta potties, vessels.
Chronojohns.
Yep.
Chronojohns.
This, by the way, is an amazing full-screen animation before it was possible to do full-screen animation.
And not actually animated. That's all. The background's all color cycling.
It's all color cycling.
A lost art in the world of.
Forgot about that.
Now that computers work like they should, you don't have to do that stuff anymore.
You know, if you look at Mark Ferrari's website, not that Mark Ferrari worked on this game, but he was a master of color cycling, and he has a whole website where he's done it in a more high-end way, like with higher res color cycling. He just kept perfecting that to higher and higher resolutions.
Yeah, that stuff was crazy. He was into it, and then I think Bill Eakin was the one that inherited the mantle from him when he left.
All the lava in Indy 4.
Yeah.
And they said imitation diamond wasn't good enough. Uh-oh.
See, color cycling.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Hoagie
that was like
jumping.
2-3 frame animations.
And a little surf music for Hoagie. We always had a
Yeah.
place for surf music in our games. That, the
Totally.
Bone Wagon theme.
Yep.
That's right.
I think that surf music was yours.
That was mine. Yeah, I did that last little sequence there.
Yeah, the musically, this I believe was the last project that we all worked on. Certainly the last original title that we all worked on together, sort of equally as composers, where there was no lead composer, and we all pretty much
Right. Panicked and freaked out together.
Mail order jewels.
Okay, am I right? Or is this is finally the game starting? Like the game, all of that was intro.
Right, all that was
The
intro.
game has now finally begun. And then as soon as you walk off screen, we freeze again for another cutscene. Ah, okay, now we're playing.
So the original cutscene was like 7 minutes before we...
And before we added that brief, tiny introduction to... We always were wrestling with that, I felt, in adventure games. Like, you want to tell the story and set it up for, the intro, but then you think of another, before the intro, we should do this other little intro. And then you'd end up with all these, like, intros to the intros to the intros. Mm-hmm. And they get super long.
I feel like that's just because we were inexperienced writers.
No, I
But some
think
people like that. Some people like that you set the whole stage and then they're interactive, and some people are just clicking and they want to get to it.
Yeah, but we never respected those people, to be honest, who just clicked to get through it. The reality is you guys had a story to tell, and that's the way to set it up and get people invested in it so that when they actually get into the interactive part, they feel invested. And
Were these cutscenes escapable back then? Did we?
Yes.
Good, but you'd be so confused if you just started this game. And...
Right.
And I do feel like we're asking the player to play a part in this story, and it's mean to make them wait so long before they can.
True, but at least they're being entertained.
But of course, it's a classic, full of mistakes, but a classic.
Ding, 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 ding. This is that we talked about a little bit when Dave and I played through. And originally, you could play all 3 characters right away. Remember that?
Is that true?
Yeah, you could play all the characters from the very beginning, and we had our first pizza orgy where we tested the game out, and people were like, "Oh, there's so many options," and they were overwhelmed. So now we unlocked it, so you have to play as Bernard for a little while, and then you do something that makes it so you can play Hoagie, and then Vern's the last.
And what about the other 3 kids?
They got cut.
There were 3 other kids?
They were 3 other kids. Do you remember who they were?
No, I don't remember anything about
A
3
piece
other
of paper.
kids.
I have a piece of paper that has a picture of them.
Moonglow.
Moonglow, Chester, and Razor.
And Chester became...
Chester and Moonglow ring a bell.
Chester became Ned and Ted.
Wait, not Ned and Ted. Jed and...
Or whoever they were.
Jed and...
Ned and Jed.
Ned and Jed.
Okay.
Ned and Jed. And Moonglow just went away. Yeah. And Razor went away as well.
I mean, I stole the character design from Chester and said, I like that. I'll use that for these guys. And put them in a powdered wig.
Why do the work again? Really?
Exactly.
how did we
I'm trying to remember how we did.
how we referred to it to score it, because we would have had to play the game.
I think what we did, yeah, I'm trying to remember too. I
Hold
think
up a
what we
video
actually,
camera in front of the screen.
I think what we did was we got a save game made,
Oh.
and we would play it to the next like place where you could pause, or like we would the next space bar point or something like that, and then we would score it, and then we would make it so that the music, because the thing was that you couldn't rely on the sync, right? So we had to actually make the music interactive in a sense with the scene, so that it could, depending on how fast of a machine you had and how quickly therefore the scene would play, would the music actually hit the right hit points and then proceed correctly to the next hit point.
So we would have an accordion like.
We basically had an accordion-like
at the end of
structure.
each little section, it would
Yeah.
sort of pause, and then resume at the hit point, or jump to the hit point if the hit point was reached first,
Yeah, and we
which
I'm trying to think if we
would be only the fastest machines.
right.
So now, CD games were just starting to be released on CD-ROM, and
The first,
for us it was
the talkie, first talkie.
first talkie, right?
Was this
and
before Rebel Assault?
it was it before or around the
Because
same,
we
same
shipped
year? I
two
think.
versions of this game. We shipped a floppy version
floppy
and a
version.
CD-ROM version.
Followed up with
This
with
CD-ROM
our
was the
first
talkie, right?
our first talkie.
The floppy version only had voice in the intro, and then it was all text.
And that was not the original plan to do voice at all.
No,
We were not going to do it, and while we were making the game,
human voice was invented.
well, human voice was invented, and more and more people started to have CD-ROM
CD-ROMs.
drives in their home computer, to the point where Kelly Flock just came in one day and said, what do you say we delay the game a little
Everybody's
bit and we make a
buying
full voice
Myst.
talkie?
Yeah, thank you. Let's all thank you to Myst.
Although, was this pre-Myst?
No, I think, well, I mean, Myst was what sold all those
CD-ROM.
CD-ROMs and Rebel Assault.
Told you guys.
So when you guys write those those multi-branching scripts, I guess you call
Dialogue
them,
trees?
Is that what you call them? Dialogue trees? Was it? Did you have to think in a certain mode, or how would you do it? And how would you notate it in Excel or something? Like, how would you map out the branches?
No, it was you would write it in code. We were programming the game at the same time.
You'd scum
so you would
program the
just-
dialogue as you wrote.
Oh my God!
You would literally say, here are the choices. If you pick this one, jump down there. If you pick this one, jump down there.
I don't know how Dave wrote it, but I just kind of improv it. Like, you'd write, I wouldn't think or plan too much about it, but like, okay, you just talk to him, and then what would be 4 funny lines on the screen, and then kind of explore one, explore the other, and maybe have other nodes that you can go to, and then I would start planning. Okay, now I've got myself into a mess. How do I get out of here?
Yeah,
And
it's
the
kind of
planning
all
would begin.
about sets of lines. And it was great because one of the things that you run up against as a writer usually in other media is I get to this point and I have to make a decision about how things go. But here we can just leave that up to the player, and all you have to do is get to a point and go, well, what are all the interesting things I might want to do here or say here? And then you just put them all in.
So it's
Easy as pie.
pre-editing.
And I remember you would always design a dead end, like where the train comes to the end of the line. Basically, it's like you say something and then he just keeps giving you the same answer, like, I wouldn't know about that. And then you try something else. I wouldn't know about that. It's like, okay, I guess I've exhausted this. It's sort of like almost like a stopgap or a safety net in a way, maybe. I don't know.
They always try to let the player
gotta be
know
some
when
end.
they've exhausted the character. They're like, look, okay, you found it. You found all of the entertainment we put in this character. It's done.
Because
Look at
people will explore as deep as you give them. It becomes a responsibility. Oh, I've got to see if there's something down there that I'm missing. So I have to. So you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's
make
an
it too
interesting thing
huge.
to attention you have to wrestle with is like, you want to put a lot of, well, the player might go here, they might go here, they might choose this, might go choose, let's put interesting stuff in all those places. But then if you approach it in the wrong way, sometimes the player gets there and they're like, oh God, I've got to go through all of this stuff. And they feel like they need to find every nook and cranny of the dialogue. And you just put it in there so they'd have a variety of things to choose from, but they feel like it's a task list and they have to like find it all. And so you,
Or something's buried there that they missed.
yeah.